wouldn't mind seeing, how it works for you. If this is the kind of thing you do, given I'm here on this call and all that. If you wanted to tell me later what you pick up what's going on, would be just out of curiosity to see, if that's something you felt like doing.
Oh, I see what you mean. During this call, no, my focus is totally going to be
not
different.
on the call, but I'm just always curious to see, when somebody says, well, I've got these capabilities, I have some specific stuff going on with me, and I'm not wanting to test you, to make life hard for you. I'd be very impressed if you could tell me what's going on physically with me.
Well, that's exactly what I do, but my charge is $300 for 1 hour, so feel free to sign up for an appointment.
I know what's going on with me, so I'm just always curious if somebody who's a professional really is able to do that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying, if you could tell me for long distance, what my physical symptoms are, I'm being honest and direct, then that would be very, very impressive.
I see.
And I would clearly also be able to refer people.
Well, okay, so first of all, for the people that are going to be listening to this recording later, we're chatting here as we're waiting for people to come on, and Roger's asked this question and made this statement, I suppose. And so I'll comment on that since we're waiting for others to arrive. And that is, if you look at a human body energetically, I will see hundreds of things that are out of alignment and in alignment. So, the way I work is I will look at blockages. So I might go to a person's lungs, for example, and start there. I'll be starting at the biggest blockage in the body. Now, the biggest blockage in the body isn't always necessarily where the so-called problem is. Like, for example, if a person has lung cancer, it might have been started from something else. It might have been started from an emotional blockage or something else that perhaps was in the ears or in the brain. So it's very tricky to diagnose in such a way. So I will always go to what's the biggest issue and then go from there. Sometimes it may be exactly what you think the issue is. But what I'm trying to say here is that there's so many things going on in the body, it's not necessarily always what you think it is.
I hear you. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing once you look at the energetic body and see how many things are going on. Well, I think we're going to start. We have Alicia, Roger, Jen, Joshua, and Mitsuko, who's going to be silently listening. And then we have 3 alumni. Yay. Yay to them, and thank you to them for coming, and thank you for the rest of you for coming. And let's start by introducing ourselves. Let's start with the alumni. You, of course, know that I'm Robin Sage, the medical intuitive, and the person that's going to be training this program. So let's start with Nanette. And if you want to just introduce yourself and maybe say anything about the program, or you can skip that and say where you're from, just something so that we can get a sense of a feeling for you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nanette. I'm from Pennsylvania. Before I began the program, I had no training in how to read energy or the like. I find that it's changed my entire world for the better. It's been very empowering spending the years with the training, and the growth that has happened for me has been really amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Barbara, who's also a graduate.
Yeah. Hi, yes, this is Barbara Hall, and I live in the Northern California in the mountains, and it's been quite wild here with the fires. Anyway, I've been in this program with Robert for a while now, and have graduated, and I just love doing these classes and have loved it because it changed my way of just being in the world, and it helped me tune into invisible, so-called, more than the visible. And that has become more real to me than what we think of as just the visible. And it's a wonderful, magical mystery. I love it.
Thank you. And let's go to Maya.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Maya and I'm Italian. And for me it's pretty much the same. I started 3 years ago and it's being very intense and amazing. And I wanted to quit many times and I'm so glad I didn't. Because the way I am able now to navigate my own life and the way I'm able now to help people is amazing. So it's an honor to be here tonight and welcoming you. And I really wish for you to start this journey because it's very, 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 very beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Maya. That was so well said. My students are absolutely amazing energy readers, by the way, and amazing people, and it's been such a pleasure working with them. Before we start taking some questions, I want to go over a little bit of technical things. If I say hello to time, that means please speed up what you're saying. If you have some noise in your background, please push *6 and that will mute you, and then you have to push it again to unmute yourself. The questions that we would like to address tonight on this call are questions that are not written about in my website or on the emails that I've sent people. So hopefully you've read them and have some other questions. That way we can avoid redundancy and save some time. And then, of course, before you speak, please state your name so we know who's speaking. All right. Does anyone have a question? Who would like to start?
This is Joshua, and I have a question.
Okay.
Can you tell me, you mentioned you never did the auditing the course. So this would be your first time, and I guess you'll go do it as you go. But my question is, what's the difference, in your opinion, between being an actual student or auditing the course as far as getting the knowledge to be a good medical intuitive and help people?
Well, it's really so much up to the individual and how much time they put into it. I'm not going to be there to answer their questions, but they will have all of the same information, listening to the calls, listening to the training. So I can't really answer that question because I've never done this audit program before, but I think it should work very well. And I expect that the students, because they have their partners that they're going to be sharing readings with and doing their homework with, and they will also be answering each other's tests and grading their tests and homework, and then sending that information to me, they're going to have a lot of feedback from them.
So, in your opinion, what would be the most significant differences? I know you mentioned they wouldn't be able to ask you questions directly. I'm imagining they wouldn't get your supervision personally. Is that the only real major difference, or is there others?
Well, if you're just an audit student, you're not going to actually be in the class. You're just going to be hearing a recording of the class, so it's going to be a lot different. When you're in the class, you're literally participating in the moment, and you're going to be giving readings, and I'm going to be giving a lot of feedback. Would any of the graduates like to respond to that question? And of course, you have to remember that we haven't done this before.
This is Nanette. I have an observation, something that came to mind.
Okay.
There were times when I was unable to make a class because I was sick or whatever. I have found that once I listen to the class again, it is like I'm there. The energy from being in the class is one thing, but listening to the recording, it is almost the same for me. I experienced like I was really there. Of course, the people weren't live and there to answer questions, but I really felt part of the class and that we were all on the same page. Does that help to answer your question?
Yes, but getting back to Robin, would you say, going through this training can be intense and somewhat stressful, I guess, depending on the individual. But Robin, in your opinion, would auditing the class be somewhat less stressful than actually being a live participant in the class?
It could be. It could be.
Other thing I wanted to ask you is if someone doesn't, if the timing may not be right for me right now, so if someone doesn't take this class now or audit this class now or coming up whenever you decide to teach it currently, when might be the next time you'll be teaching it?
A minimal 3 years from now.
At least 3 years?
At least 3 years from now, because one, we haven't started the class yet, and once it starts, then it's 2.5 years minimal, and then I always like to take a break afterwards and gather new students, like I'm doing right now. But I also want to say that in terms of stress, you're going to have the same amount of homework, and the homework for audit students is you're going to have to do it. And it will be checked and corrected, and I will get, from your accountability partner, feedback as to, if you're doing your homework or not, and so that will still be part of the audit program. So, in some ways it might be easier to be in the class because you have to be committed to the day of the class. For the most part, as opposed to if you're in the audit class, you can kind of listen to the recording whenever you want, and then you might fall behind, and then you could get stressed out needing to catch up. So it's not a good thing to get behind in this class. Everything is cumulative and builds on the next thing, all the meditations and everything that you learn. And so it's really good to stay up to date. And of course, the audit class won't be nearly as comprehensive and as good as the regular class. And I'm only going to do the audit class if I have an overflow of 12 plus people. So it's not even going to be an option if I don't have 12 people to sign up for the regular class, just to be clear.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question?
This is Jennifer. I have a few. Should I just space them out and do one at a time so everyone has a chance to ask their questions?
Yeah, let's do one and then see if anyone else has a question in between.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess, let's see, which one should I start with here? Is your program based on a specific style, like via Carolyn Mays or Mona Lisa Schultz, as far as that goes, or is it kind of your own style as far as reading body? And I was also wondering if anatomy is even necessary to be covered in the course.
Anatomy is covered in the course. We do a brief study of, organs and physiology, organ by organ. So we will study more of the scientific perspective, and it is brief. So it's about a paragraph, writing about a paragraph, saying, okay, this is what the liver does, because everyone needs to know the basic functions of the body. And then we will read each organ or body part energetically and check into the emotional value of it, and that's really amazing to do that. So much fun to actually learn, and to learn about your own organs, because I have everyone looking at their own organs as they're reading them. So let's see. The other question was about my style. No, I'm not from any of those other schools of thought. One of my original places where I trained was at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. And if you're going to say that my technique is close to anything, it would be that, but it's really become my own. I've been doing this since 1999. And so, I've chucked out the things that I didn't like about that school, and then I've made my own many other new things.
Okay.
Thank you. Next
Great.
person.
Great.
Anyone else?
Yeah, can you repeat the name of that school you went to? I didn't catch that. This is Joshua.
I went to a couple, but the first one was called the Berkeley Psychic Institute in Berkeley, California.
Okay, thank you.
Alicia, do you have a question? We haven't heard from you.
Yeah, I have a question just regarding writing of the classes.
Wait, I can't hear you very well. It sounds a little muffled.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, I just have a question regarding the timing of the classes. When does the weekly class usually, what day is it usually on, or is it something that we decide upon?
Yes, it's something that we would decide upon together. We'd find a day and a time that works for everyone. And that's a nice thing about having 10 to 12 people, is it's a lot easier to do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, back to Miss Jen then.
Thank you. All right. So my next question is, do you offer solutions for healing, like once everything is brought to people's attention as far as, the emotional contribution to what's going on? Do you offer, any type of healing modalities that will help them in their process once they've discovered what's going on?
Yes, it's all about that, of course. That is the key. That's what we're after, is the healing aspect. It's great to be able to read the energy, but of course we look at the cause, but then we look at the cure. And that's, of course, very important. And everything that we look at, we learn how to do it in the moment. So it could be things that you would never think of if you were using your analyzer type part of your brain as opposed to your intuitive brain. So we look at this question through clairvoyance, and all kinds of different things come up, from healing modalities to breathing techniques to people that they need to add into their life or take away from their life, or jobs, or colors, daily habits, supplements. We look at a whole slew of things. One of the things we even look at has to do with foreign energy in people's spaces. It could be foreign people, it could be spirits, it could be all kinds of different things. And then what's going to be the healing aspect for that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more? No more, Jen?
Oh, I have a few more, yes.
Okay, go ahead. And then I have one from someone who isn't able to be on the call, but we'll hear from you first.
Okay, thank you again. I guess I was talking with a friend of mine about this. She's really excited. I finally found my passion. I got a healing from you about a year ago, in fact, and I just listened to it again for the first time in a year. And I feel strongly that this is a passion of mine.
Mm-hmm.
She did bring something to my attention. She's like, well, is this something you want to do full time? And I had told her, yes. I definitely know I'm supposed to be in the profession of healing, energetic healing of some capacity. Do you find that this is something you can do full time, or do you find that most people who do medical intuition, it takes a while to build the business and it's something more as a side job?
Well, that really does depend on the individual. Some people are such go-getters and, they're into social media, especially some of the younger people, and they just have a huge platform to begin with, and they're very socially inclined and outgoing. So people that are more outgoing and they're on Facebook saying, wow, I learned how to give a reading. Oh my God, this is amazing. Who wants to, be my guinea pig? Might, throughout the 2.5-year program will develop relationships, business relationships that will later turn into, profitable relationships. Someone's got some noise in their background. If you could *6. So it really depends on the individual. Some people, are more laid back and, not go-getters. I know that this last group that graduated, they were, it was like pulling teeth trying to get them to put up flyers about themselves. So, they had to work through some energy about being seen, and some people were, had difficulties with that in the community. Did they want everyone to know that they were an energy reader? And so, obviously, if you're going to have those kind of feelings, then you're not going to be as profitable as someone else. So it really depends on the individual. I've been working full-time since 1999. I think I've only had 2 part-time jobs, and they never lasted because I don't do well. I need to be in charge of my life and running the show. So that's what works for me. Does it take time to build a business? I think it takes time to build any business. People in business typically talk about 10 years to grow a decent business. So, you might not want to throw away your day job. And again, it depends on the individual. I did throw away my day job. I work for the California State Department, believe it or not, of rehabilitation, and the California Autism Foundation, kind of as a healer in the corporate world, so to speak. And then I got into massage, and I threw away all of that, or I left it and just dove right in and started teaching and giving readings, and I did fine, but I'm super passionate about it and just absolutely love it.
Yeah. Do you help assist with business building, like websites for us, or is that kind of on our own accord?
Well, it's mostly on your own. I'll be helping you in the sense of doing things little by little. And this is something that I'm going to be doing more in this program than I did in the last. Every MI program that I teach, I do it better and better each time because I learn from, the past mistakes and where we need to focus more. So from the get-go, we're going to be creating blogs and little by little piecemeal a website together for those people that don't have one already. So there'll be the opportunity for them to either learn how to do it themselves and, develop a free one if they need to, or to hire someone to do it for them. It will be an individual preference.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it is important, and different people in the program have different goals. Some of them really want to become professional, and other people take the program just for personal reasons, or maybe to give their cat a healing, or their partner, or themselves, or their friends, but they don't really want to go more than that, and that's absolutely fine too. The program, though, will be geared for those who want to become professionals. There will definitely be a lot of support for that, to go in that direction.
Right. And do you offer for children, do you cover like children and animals in your program as well, as far as reading?
Yes, well, they're both actually the same. It's just the subject matter is different. We're not going to be having children come onto the call. to be read as we will adults, but we will be addressing them because really it's the same as addressing an adult. You read them the same way. It's just the way you speak to them will be different. So it's really the same as for any other thing. And animals, we have a whole level for animal communication where we actually will be reading animals.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
This is Nanette. Jen, I wanted to let you know, too, that there are times through the classes where you need to find people that you can read. And you do develop a relationship with them as you're learning. So hang on to those names as you do that. And you can foster relationships with them to start building your client base.
Okay, yeah, I told a few people I was jumping into this, and I think I've had 5 friends go, "Oh my gosh, let me know when you're done."
well,
And luckily I have a conscious group of friends out here in Hawaii, a lot of conscious people, so I think it's going to go well.
Nice.
A lot of people open this type of thing, so.
Well, let me tell you, you're going to be reading them long before the program is done because we pretty much start reading right away. So it's a slow and gradual process, and yet we're going to be taking baby steps and reading energy right from the get-go. So, in 6 months, you're going to be giving those people readings, and they're going to be knocking at your door. Can I have another one?
Are we allowed to accept financial return for that, or would you prefer us to wait to the very end?
I am completely in favor of money. As long as we live in this world that has this financial system, I think that we need to partake in this system. It makes things a lot easier. And so I am absolutely fine with that. There will be a time period where you are just starting to learn and just starting to give some beefy readings. Some tofu-y readings, and you won't be strong enough to read anyone. So there will be people coming at you who are skeptical. There are going to be people in your family who will want to test you. They'll say, yeah, I'll do a reading, but then they won't be supportive. So in the beginning, that's really the only thing that I ask in the very beginning, is that you only read people who you know are supportive. Because it's such a fragile thing. You don't want to take a newborn who's learning to walk and have someone push them over, right? It doesn't mean that they didn't walk. They did walk, but they still got pushed over. And so while you're learning this skill, I ask that you surround yourself with positive people. And then you get stronger and stronger. And now you can read anyone eventually, even those who are very negative, even those who say, I don't agree with what you're saying, or I don't believe this, and you'll know how to deal with them.
Yeah, and that's after about 6 months, you think?
I'm looking at my list of levels. We've got level 2 is reading colors. Level 3 is auric field. Level 4 is chakras. Oh yeah. Do you guys remember when you first started feeling like you were like, woo, doing full-on readings? I don't have a very good sense of time. I would say definitely.
I would say this is Maya.
Thank you. Yes, and I'm sorry. Please, all of you, feel free to address a graduate if you would like them to answer the question. It's your choice. And also, graduates, feel free to jump in anytime. All right. Any more questions?
What would you say the allotted amount of homework time is? This is Jen again.
Who would you like to answer that question?
You know what? Maybe a graduate. Yeah.
I'd love to hear their answer because I think about, God, what is it? Because it really varies, and especially in the beginning, it's different to the end. But anyone like to answer that question?
Well, this is Barbara, and I'd say about an hour a week minimal. And that was often the homework where we worked with other people or each other, which was really fun. But usually more because there'd be some reading to do. So that's about it. It seems like a couple hours a week at least.
Okay. And there's textbooks?
Yes.
Yes, and there is going to be more books and more reading in this level than in previous levels.
Okay. Yes. All right. And are there like written tests that we have to submit, or is it more just energy readings?
It's going to be both, but there will be written tests, and you'll email them back to me. So I'll email them out when we're all joined in class, and then you'll answer them and you'll email them back. And then your accountability partner for that week will correct them and then send me the test results. And they're mostly for you all, just so you know how you're doing. And they're also for me to know, am I communicating well enough? Do I need to repeat myself more? Because sometimes I'll say something and, if you happen to be spacing out while I just said one important thing, you can miss it completely. So I need to know what people are retaining and what they're not so that I know what to go over with.
And this is Barbara again. It seems like it did get quite a bit more homework during the heavy part of the medical intuitive part.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty intense. We had to write about and kind of analyze what we'd done and write reports and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Way funner than a traditional college, though, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would say that if you think of this training as similar to going to medical school, it's going to be a piece of cake if you compare it to that. But if you think of it as, I'm going to take this fun weekend workshop, then you're going to think, whoa, there's a lot of homework. So I'd rather people think of this course as very similar to going to medical school. Maybe for people that always wanted to be a doctor or a healer, but didn't believe or, preferred less allopathic styles, such as alternative medicine, then this program is the correct program for you. Any other questions? Roger, you're silent. Do you have any questions? Okay, I'm going to read a question that was sent to me because the person couldn't be here today. How strict are daily meditations? Are they in silence, or can you listen to a guided meditation? So this is a very interesting question to me because it's as if this person thinks that I'm just going to say meditate, but not tell them what kind of meditation to do. So it's not like it's just some arbitrary meditation where I'm going to say you have to meditate every day and you figure it out. I'm going to be giving very specific meditations. Some will be silence, what I call more inner, silent, passive meditations, where you're connecting with source energy. Or heart or your own love, which are really amazing and super powerful. And some will be more active meditations, which could be focusing on manifesting. It could be about healing certain organs in your body. It could be running energies through certain channels of your body. There's all kinds of, I'm writing a book now, and there are so many different types of meditations that I'm going to be teaching, and they all are for specific reasons that you would do at specific times. And some have to do with preparing to give a reading. So how strict are daily meditations? So the other thing is that if you're asking that question, it might not be the right program for you because I would rather have students who are looking forward to doing the meditations and doing the homework so that they can build their own energy field and become a strong person, because reading energy is very easy. It's what comes after the reading that is more challenging. So in other words, it's your growth period to that work that you've done, that shift in your space and shift in another person's space. Sometimes if you're not ready, it can feel like a little earthquake. So you want to have your meditations and your grounding in firm practice. All right. Anyone else? Any comments, questions from anyone?
Yeah, I'd like to. This is Nanette. I'd like to comment on a meditation question and give some reassurance to everyone. Robin is an excellent teacher of meditations during the class. She will, during the class, do a meditation or a partial meditation with you so that you really do understand what it is that you're supposed to do when you're on your own. And you can go back and listen to it if you need to get some guidance. Because she actually goes through, okay, these are the physical sensations that you might be feeling. This is what happens to me when I meditate, and I want you to focus on this certain thing while you're doing this meditation. So for me, that was really key, because I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know anything about meditation. It was a very comforting thing for me to have that, and just to be able to rely on that guidance, to know that I was doing what I needed to do.
Thank you. See? My students are so much better at explaining things. I just do it. I can't explain it. Yes, and it is very...
I ask another question of the alumni.
Yes, and who is this? Is this Jen?
It is again.
Okay.
Thank you guys for being so patient with me.
No problem. You're making up for all the people that are missing.
I hope I'm not taking up all the time.
No.
I just had a lot of questions. So, as far as your guys' ladies' businesses, do you feel? I know Robin had mentioned what her fees are for charging. Do you find that it's that what you're charging is comparable, and do you find that it is pretty easy to get clients at that rate, and how are your businesses going?
Oh, a dog wants to answer that question. If you have a dog in your background, please push *6 to mute.
This is Maya. Is this question for everyone?
Yes.
Graduated or specifically for
somebody? Yes.
Any of you ladies who want to chime in with that, I'd be grateful.
Yes, it's gonna come with time. You're gonna start working on things and your feelings, towards the quality of your work. And you're gonna find out that there is more things that you need to work on, and things that it's a lot about personal growth. This training. So you're gonna reach to a place where you know exactly how much you deserve to charge for what you do, and Robin is doing it for many years. So I'm not personally in a place where I feel comfortable to charge $300 for readings, but I'm pretty confident that I can get there. And it's again a lot about how much energy you put into it, how much you love it, how much passion, how much you are open to work on yourself and all the things that's gonna come up for you. Yeah. So it's very personal, and it's very it's very captivating. Do you do this full? Yeah. Do you do this full time? Is this your full-time job? I'm not there yet because I have a elementary school and I have a child, so I'm working in the morning mostly, and I don't know exactly full time. I mean, I don't give like 3-4 readings a day. And
you do how many readings a day?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. How many readings did you say you do?
It depends. It's always depend on my week. What I can take in. So sometimes people have to wait have to wait for a reading because I have a full week doing other things. But if you're open to have it as a full-time job, definitely it's happening because the quality of this training is really, really high. We started many people, and not many people was able to get to the end. So if you make it, you're gonna be challenged a lot, and a lot of time when we are challenged, we get challenged inside. We have the tendency to project it outside and get and maybe leave the course or. So if you make it to the end, you're gonna pretty much be into a place where you can build it. And if you want to build it full time, you can do it pretty fast. That's my feeling.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sounds like a bird.
Yeah. And this is Barbara speaking. And, I do two things right now. I do the intuitive readings and healing, which, by the way, I built up so far almost exclusively, besides some friends and acquaintances, almost exclusively when I was doing the field work, the internship that we do near the end after the medical intuitive part and during it. And so, again, to repeat what someone else said, I think Nan, that is a fabulous way to start building your business. And I'm a painter, intuitive and fine artist too, so I do both. And so I know that if I decided to, drop one and just do the other, that probably I'd be doing that full time, but I choose not to, and that feels like a really great balance to me.
Nice.
Yeah, and I charge about half of what Bubba does.
Okay.
And I certainly have a goal to make that more, and I have, very little doubt that if that's what I really want to do, I can certainly do it.
Yeah.
Because the level.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry. The level finally at the end of this long program is really wonderful. I really felt and feel like I learned everything I needed to learn from Robin at the end. It was really, worth all the perseverance and hanging in there.
Thank you. So you're charging $150, Barbara?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
They're all such amazing readers. Oh, go ahead, Annette.
Thanks. This is Nanette. I don't really do a whole lot of readings professionally. I took the class because I wanted to heal my own body, and I knew that I had some readings from Robin, and I knew that the things that I was doing didn't work. And so my purpose was to be able to work on my own stuff, to really rewire my brain to understand that there's something more than physical to focus on and try to figure out that. And I wanted to be able to help other people do that. I'm still working on that for myself. I use it to help my family. I have, because of this training, I have relatively young grandchildren that have just been a major blessing to me, and I feel like my calling right now is to them. I am the elder, and I want to be there to show them energetically that they are loved and accepted, and it doesn't matter what they're doing physically or what they're saying, that I'm using my skills that I've learned here to heal myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and I'm teaching those skills to my grandchildren. So, yes, I do some readings. I offer, our local library has people donate things every year and has an option to fundraise, and I always offer a free reading for somebody. And that's about as far as I go in terms of that. When my grandchildren are a little bit older, I see that I know that I will be doing more readings professionally.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I have an 8-year-old son, and I think healing all of my stuff is going to be so amazingly beneficial, and I'm, working on being the most conscious parent I can be, and I think that's where it starts, is with our children, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go through what we went through, just raising them with consciousness and love and acceptance and all of that, and being a good model for them as we work through our own healing, I think is just imperative.
Yeah, just showing them how powerful they are by being powerful yourself.
That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nanette. I saw that when you were speaking, what I saw was that you are breaking generations of negative chains and patterns in your ancestry. And wow, it's so powerful when you look at it energetically. You're really on your path, and you're using all these things, and you're rebuilding their entire systems for them, and you're giving them life is what you're doing. It's pretty amazing. Thanks for doing that.
Well, thank you. It's a joy.
Good things are always joyous. Anyone else?
I have some questions, if I may. This is Mitsuko.
Mitsuko.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So 2 main things. One is for the learning. Somewhere on the website it mentions there's a platform for group exchanges. And I was wondering what kind of platform you use, and also do the audit students get to join it or not, is one question.
Okay, hold on a minute. Are you talking about the blog where they do the homework? Is that what you're talking about?
Is it that? Let's see if I can pull it up.
There are only 2 things it could be. The students do their homework on a blog, so sometimes they call each other and they might read each other, exchange readings, and then they'll write on their blog, on the student blog on my website. So it's a GoDaddy platform. They'll write, this is what I found out, or this is what I learned. They'll just write a couple sentences about it. The only other thing you could be thinking of is the graduates of this next program, or any of my graduates who actually, receive a diploma and graduate all the way through, are welcome to be on my website. So I'll be exposing them and offering student readings. Is that what you were thinking?
I see. That's probably what I was reading. The website and school will soon have a business platform for graduates of Sage School. So this is only for the students that have finished.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not the audit students.
No, it won't be possible for the audit students because I won't know their work, so I won't be able to, kind of support them in that way. Mm-hmm. Whereas the people that go through the program with me, I'll know them, the ins and outs of them and how well they do readings, and we'll be working the whole time on tailoring their readings to make them more complete and more accurate. So I'll really, when they graduate, I'll know that absolutely for sure this is someone I would want to put on my website and expose to all the people that come to my website, because I have so many people now visiting my website that it's a great place to get exposed and to be able to find people to work for.
I see. So basically, one of the difference between an audit student and your official student is you're going to be responsible. You will be able to validate that they are doing a good job. For the audit students, they get to enjoy the responsibility for the work that they'll be able to perform.
Sorry, you cut out at least on my line. Could you repeat that?
I was trying to summarize my understanding that the difference and the difference is that with the official students, at the end of the program, you will be able to validate their work. You have been responsible for them.
Yes.
With the audit students, we get to enjoy the contents, but you're not there to prove the quality of the work that we can do.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I have other questions related. One is, I guess, as we're learning, my assumption is that we'll be working out as well.
I'm sorry, you just cut out. As you're learning, you'll be what?
As a side benefit, able to receive some healing as we're working on ourselves through the program, correct?
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. Graduates, do you want to answer that question?
I'm sorry, we're not laughing at. We're laughing at.
We're laughing.
Yes, you will receive so much healing that you will be unrecognizable from the person you were when you started to the person you are when you finished.
Very, very well said, and very true.
Yes. Excellent.
Yes. So this is every class is healing of some nature: body, mind, emotion, spirit. I mean, it's such a treat. It feels selfish because it's so healing and in so many ways.
Wow, that's powerful.
And I wanted to also say to anyone considering enrolling in the classes that as you go through the class with your classmates, you build a bond with these people. And so you always know that you have them. You always have free energy readers available to help you out whenever you need, when you're stuck and you need some help. When the classes are over, you have these people that you really have gone through war with. They're your war buddies.
Did you say war? I don't know if that's going to give them the wrong idea.
In terms of, the emotional garbage that you get rid of and that you look at. And, for me, some of the things I had to say, I was like, I didn't think I would ever say them to anybody, but they come up so that they can be healed. And when you share from that place with these people for 2.5 years, you develop a camaraderie that is very similar to having a war buddy. Because you all know each other's stuff. You know where you came from. You know what the goals are. And for me, one of the most healing things that happened was, you know what, everybody has stuff. I'm not really as screwed up as I thought I was. We just all have these things to work through. And isn't it great to have all these people in this platform to work through it with?
That's nice.
Wow. Almost sounds like a no-brainer not to sign up for $150 per month.
Well, thank you for your little advertisement.
I have another question. Can I keep on asking a few more?
Please do.
Do we touch the Akashic records at all? I didn't see that in the list on the website.
Yes, we do.
You do?
Yes.
And then another thing is I'm a massage therapist, so I'm more a physical person, and energy healing and reading is not what I do right now. But I'm very, very interested, and I think that it's so cool. Would you say that as graduates, I think I repeatedly see that we're going to be reading. We'll be providing readings after we graduate from the program. Do we not call that energy healing? Do we actually move other people's energies, or do we simply read so that they can heal themselves? Does that make sense?
Is this to the graduates or to me?
For anyone who can answer.
You absolutely do both. And I try to always write readings and healings. That's what we do, energy readings and energy healings.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also want to add that I used to be a professional massage therapist for 10 years, I was, and one of the things I started doing once I learned how to read was I would incorporate my readings as I was doing massage. I still do it, but just for my partner, for my boyfriend, and he loves them. But it's an amazing thing to massage someone and get into their, muscles or their whatever that's giving them pain, and start talking to them about what's causing it and how they can cure it. It is amazing, and I used to call them transformational healing massage. So it's a great thing to stick together for those of you who are a massage therapist. Really great.
Great. One last question is, what's your maximum number of clients that you typically like to see comfortably? As a massage therapist, I feel like the way I provide work, I do deep tissue, and I, like you said, I like getting into those muscles or systems and removing the blockages, and it can get quite taxing on me, but I'm really not able to do it full time, and just want to have a realistic. I'm sure it depends on what other obligations you have in your life and all that, but for you, Robin, and anyone else who can share, like, what's a comfortable maximum number of clients that you would like to see on a weekly basis?
Well, you're correct. It is really an individual, per individual basis, because when I first started, I did a lot. I might do 4 readings in one day. And now, like Barbara was saying, she's also a fine artist. So she likes to do, spend part of her time doing that and part of her time doing readings. And I am just getting to the point in my career where I am spending more time writing. I'm on my 2nd book now, so I am cutting back as much as I can. I'm trying to cut back. And so right now I typically only do 1 to 2 readings per day. But that's by choice, Do you guys want to answer that, anyone? I think we actually already covered that with someone else's question about work and part-time, full-time. It's really, you can do whatever you want.
True.
I mean, I wouldn't suggest anyone at the height of their career, personally, and especially if you read. I'm what you would call a root reader. So that means that I go straight to the core issues, and that's what I train my students to do. So in my school, there were a lot of people that were just very chit-chatty, and they'd talk about superficial and surface things that they would see on the surface of someone's auric field. and that's fine. And everyone has a different style. My style is I'm a core reader. So you ask me why you have a splinter, and I might talk to you about a past life or something else that's very, very deep, that is really at the start, that started whatever your pattern is or your disease or issue is. And so being a core reader, it can be intense. And like I said, not everyone has to be. It's a choice. And everyone has their own style. So I have had students in my class who are more of the kind of surface readers, and others who are more like me, who really like to dive in and are courageous and love that stuff. That's just what I love, and if you see me at a party, I'll be the one that's sitting around not saying anything to anyone, unless I find someone that likes to have deep conversation, right? So we're all different, and people tend to read energy the same way that they live their lives. So if you're more of a chatty kind of person, you might be able to do, I knew a person from my school where I graduated, I think she did like 6 or 7 readings a day. I have no idea how she did that, but she did. And, but myself, I've been more like a 4 or 5 kind of readings. But like I said, now that I'm writing books, I'm really shifting my career to writing and teaching are my main focuses. Was someone else going to say something?
I was kind of wondering about, this is Jen, about what you were saying as far as the surface readers and the core readers, and I really appreciate that you are a reader, and I think a lot of people would. Now, I was wondering, though, do you gauge when somebody comes to you with ailments, you kind of have to read them first to see, are they ready to hear this? Mm-hmm. Are they ready to hear that, ideally, this or that relationship is truly affecting their elbow? And, do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. I totally do. I totally do. And, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, that's all I meant.
I'm going to answer this question really honestly, and that is that I don't take into consideration whether a person can hear it or not. I say what I feel that I need to say, and I let go of the reins, and I let them decide if they want to listen or believe what I've said or not. And then I, of course, end the reading with lots of healing modalities that they can partake in. Other people, and certainly in the training we talk about this, other people might, like Barbara's, you can just tell by our personalities, and that's why I'm saying that your personality is really going to affect how you read. Barbara, the fine artist, is very soft-spoken and very, very gentle. And so I think a reader like that might consider, what a person can hear more than someone like I would.
Yeah. This is Nanette. I don't either. I figure if the energy is there for me to see, it's there for it to be healed. And it's my responsibility as a reader to tell the person so that they can make the choice to heal or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm more like that. And, sometimes you tell someone something, and I get people emailing me all the time saying, when you said blah, 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 I didn't know what you were talking about. But suddenly, 6 months later, I completely know what you're talking about. So I see it as a way to plant a seed. They might be able to take 50% of it. They might be able to take 100% of it. Every individual is going to be different. But if I spend my time trying to tailor and mold myself to every different individual, that's going to take a lot of my energy. So I would rather be myself and be honest and say, this is what I see. And like I was telling Roger in the beginning, who was saying that I would be very impressed if you could diagnose something correctly if you gave me a reading, that's that I say what is the first thing that I see. Because the first thing that I see when someone starts talking to me is usually the core issue that is causing their issue, to be redundant. So I just start talking about that, and then I start seeing how it's related to their issue. And so I just kind of layer by layer go into different things. And sometimes people, the majority of the time, people are saying, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, or, oh, how did you know that, or, yes, that's true. And every once in a while you get someone who says, I don't know what the world you're talking about. I had a reading last week, actually, with a person, and they said that very thing, I don't know what you're talking about. And I had to explain, hold on, let me turn the alarm off. I had to explain, this energy that I'm talking about, this is your father's energy, and this your father's energy is in your space, and so it's becoming who you are. So anyway, it's a long story, but the short of it is that sometimes it takes a little while for people to understand exactly what's going on in their space. And I feel so relaxed when I'm doing a reading, and I read as if I have all the time in the world. And it goes straight to the core, and it's very powerful.
I will say the reading I've received from you, Robin, I listened to it a year later, and you're exactly right. It's like I was finally able to integrate what you had said to me and make sense of it all, and it literally was a healing in itself listening to that reading again. And I had so many more ahas this time than I did a year ago when I initially heard you. But I think your style is, you had a lot of tact and soft-spoken, very patient with me because I'm a talker. And I just was watching myself just talk all over you. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I didn't even let her get a word in hardly, but you were patient with me. And it was a beautiful reading, and you got to a lot of stuff that I'm actually able to see now. So, yeah, I think your style was right on. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I tell people that I say, listen to the recording over and over again, because each time you listen, you'll hear something completely new. And what you weren't ready to hear, 1 month, you might be able to hear a month later. So it's really an incredible thing, I think. It's such an empowering thing to be able to extend this level of awareness to other people. And, you let them be who they are, and you let them understand it at their own pace, and that's all we can do. All right. Well, we have been over an hour, so I want to give the graduates, thank you so much for being here tonight. I want to give you the opportunity to leave. I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry about the error that I made on the code, the passcode, but I know everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. And I'll be sending this recording to people who were not able to be here tonight. So thank you very much. And are there any last questions before we end this call?
Okay, last one. I'm sorry, you guys. You can all hang up if you need to.
Okay. I'll be here, though.
Right ahead. It's late. I know it's late on I'm in Hawaii time, so it's only 4 here. But do we get certified or get a specific certification per se, or is it just the training that we can say we have for people?
Yes, you'll get a beautiful plaque at the end of the training and certification. And the medical intuition is not yet, how would you call it, certifiable, by the state or government or anything like that. Does anyone have anything to say about their certificates? Did you guys like your certificates?
This is Nan. Mine's hanging on the wall, proudly here. They're beautiful.
Nice.
They are beautiful. I've had mine displayed in my special studio room, and actually it was one of the fewer items I took out. It's not here right now because of my evacuation. So that's how much I valued it. I wanted to keep it small.
Oh, Barbara, that makes me cry. Thank you so much. When you really deserved it. You worked hard for it. Oh, That's so nice to hear. And she's talking about she had to evacuate because of the fire. She's by Sonora, California.
Oh. Blessings to you right now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
My house still here.
Yeah, very lucky.
Well, thank you all so much. Thank you for being my contestants and for inquiring about this program. And I value your time and your questions. They help other people to understand the program in a broader spectrum. So blessings, everyone. Good night, and hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you. Same to you.
Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night. Aloha. Namaste.
Good night.
Peace. Shalom. Shanti.
Shanti.
Good night, everyone.
Have fun.
Thanks.
Have fun.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.